Hello everyone, George Packard, and today we're going to talk about making tough decisions. Everybody has to make tough decisions in their life. No matter who you are, you're going to have to make tough decisions. You're going to make easy ones, you're going to make tough ones. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the tough decisions. You know, the decisions that you make that you worry about overnight or you can't sleep, or, you know, in everyday life you run across things that are frustrating to you, that make you nervous, that build up anxiety, that you have trouble distinguishing sometimes what decision you should make. So I'm going to touch on a few of these things and hopefully help you guys out, because I know if I'm going through it, you're going through the same thing. So everyone has to make the tough decisions. Like I said, you make decisions on what you eat. You make decisions every day on what you drink. Do you have drinking habits? Do you have drug habits? Do you have, habits, bad habits as far as spending money? Do you have issues with spending money? Dating, do you have issues with that? You might have tough decisions to make with people that you're seeing that, you think you should get away from, that they're just not good for you, or you're not happy. I've been down that road many times when I was younger, so people just, again, decisions you go through every day. How to spend your money, the religion, the what car to buy, what to say, voicing whether or not you should voice your opinion sometimes is a big deal, because there are ramifications. Sometimes when you voice your opinion, you piss people off. This happens to me on YouTube. Occasionally when I tell people what I think, they don't like to hear it. The haters come out of the woodwork, so on and so forth. These are just everyday decisions, okay? When you're in business, you have to make many more. You'll make decisions like who to hire, who to fire. Should you discipline your employees? Should you reward your employees? Should you give your employees raises? Should you not? There's all kinds of things that go into that. There's how much to pay your employees. What to buy, what not to buy. Managing your inventories. You're managing your money. Managing your time with your spouse, with your kids. How many times have you guys been in a position where you're like work, and there's no time at home, and before you know it, there's ramifications. Your wife is letting you know you need to be here. You're missing out on some of these things. So, time spent on the business, okay? There's marketing strategies. There's all kinds of things to worry about with all of these issues, okay? There's how much money to spend on your marketing. When to market, okay? Just as important is how you market. Who are you marketing to? Another thing is very important. And there's many, many more. So making tough decisions are part of everybody's life, and they have to be done. The worst part about making those decisions is being decisive and doing it. You can worry about them all day long. There's been some decisions I've spent weeks on worrying about. And if I'd have just made the decision right away, I could have saved myself a lot of pain, a lot of frustration, a lot of anxiety. Maybe my hair wouldn't fall out as fast or turn as gray, things of that nature. So sometimes you're going to be right, and sometimes you're going to be wrong. For every action, there's a reaction. Some examples. No matter what you do in life, if you make good decisions, you're going to pat yourself on the back. If you make bad decisions, you're going to agonize over them, but hopefully you'll learn from them. So, eating bad foods. Here's an example for eating bad foods. If you continue to eat them, you're going to gain weight. It's not good for your health, right? You don't brush your teeth. What happens to you if you don't brush your teeth? You don't floss. You're going to be going to the dentist. A lot of money, pain. I don't like either of those things happening to me, okay? So, if you drink a lot, what's going to happen? Your health is going to get bad, right? Has to. Drugs, same thing. I have watched drugs ruin the lives of more people, especially lately, than I've ever seen in my life. I can't believe how many people are getting hooked on drugs, and I've watched landscapers. So it hits me at home when I see guys in my own town that have turned to drugs and have just turned to complete shit, lost their businesses, are taking other people's money to support their habits. They're not doing the work. Before you know it, they're out of business. They're running from the law. There's all kinds of bad things that come from this, okay? So drugs can ruin your life, absolutely. One of the best sayings I ever heard was, "A fool and his money will soon part." Okay? Now, let me elaborate on that a little bit. When you talk about making bad decisions in life, how many football players or people, if you ever go on YouTube and you look and see people, where are they now? What are they doing now? Celebrities, football stars, so on and so forth, that were making millions of dollars and now they're broke. Okay? I call that a fool and his money will soon part. So if you're not smart enough to learn and to know what to do with your money and make smart investments, you soon will lose your money. Look up lottery winners and where are they now? Look at how many of them win $1 million in the lottery and a year later they're broke because they were foolish and they spent that money. So here again, a fool and his money will soon part. Yes? Okay. Voicing your opinions. One of the things that I want to touch on a little bit about that is always keep in mind when you voice your opinion, other people's feelings. So I am as guilty as anybody of voicing my opinion and hurting people's feelings, and I try to work on that personally day in and day out because I know it's an issue that I have. Sometimes I'm just quick to fire off with a remark. You may have noticed from some of my previous videos, if haters come out and attack me, I would attack them right back. I'm not as quick to do that anymore. Okay, I had to learn that. I guess the hard way. I don't know, I just realized that I'm beating my head against a brick wall sometimes when you try to make people understand you and they don't get the point. You got to realize that there's, certain times you should raise your opinion and other times maybe just keep it to yourself, okay? Bad hires. So there's a problem down the road with that. Taking the time to hire good employees and really get a feel for them before you bring them on is very important. Don't hire them right away, slap them in because you need a body in the truck. There's problems down the road with that, okay? You find out he's on drugs, you find out he's a thief. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can happen, or he's got a bad attitude. He's got a temper. And the next thing you know, you're in a fist fight with him and rolling around out in your parking lot. So all these things happen, or in my case, a Walmart store just the other day. But regardless, firing good employees. I don't know that I've ever had to fire a good employee. I think there was one time in my life that I thought I should have given him a second chance, that I didn't hear him out enough, that I probably should have just listened and gave him another opportunity because he was a good employee. And yeah, there were some downfalls and I ended up firing him, but when I look back on it now, it wasn't that big of a deal. I should have given him another chance. I think things could have been different if I would have just explained myself a little better. So disciplining employees, now that's a big decision maker right there. So you got to be careful with that, when you should discipline them and when you shouldn't, because you could lose them if you discipline them. And here's a good example. In my younger days, I would come out, and if they broke something of mine, I would come out and start cursing at them, and I was just angry about it. And come to find out, I'm just angry all the way around. Back in the day, there were so many irons in the fire, and I'm torn every which way trying to make things work and trying to make money and keep the business going and grow the business and do the marketing and all these other things. And then to have an employee, back my truck up into a building or something, and cost me thousands of dollars. Those things, yeah, they get you angry and whatnot, but you got to be careful because they could be good employees. Accidents do happen. You have to remember those things. Accidents happen. Whenever you're in business, you're going to have things pop up like that. Like you said, backing into a building or wrecking one of your vehicles. I just had one of my trucks flip down in Florida. They tried to take an off-ramp, a 35-mile-an-hour off-ramp at 74 miles an hour. And the GPS tracking unit was in that truck, so I know exactly how fast they were going when it stopped working. So they flipped the truck, totaled everything out. It was like 70 grand gone. Okay, so those guys don't work for me anymore. However, there are certain cases where you really got to think about things. If it wasn't their fault, like a tire maybe would have blown, this, that, and the other. That wasn't the case down in Florida, but whatever. All right, moving on. Rewarding employees. When you reward your employees, I've had this happen several times. I've had I've given my employees things, and I've given them bonuses, this, that, and the other, and I felt good about it. I thought they would feel good about it. I've had times where the employees didn't even acknowledge I gave them a bonus. And as these things happen, I'm not going to say anything about it, but next year, guess what? No bonus. Yep, that's right. Anyway, all new equipment, broken. You can have this stuff happen all day long. It's decisions you make all the time. So whether it's time with your family, you could lose your family. If you spend so much time in your business, all of a sudden your family home, and I've seen this happen to a lot of different guys, to where they spend so much time on their business, before they know it, their wife has left them, they started fooling around with somebody else, and before you know it, they're gone. You've lost everything you were working for to begin with, because you were trying to build this beautiful family thing, So, there's that. There's spending money on bad marketing, okay? Your business could suffer terribly from that. If you constantly try something, let's say you're constantly trying every door direct mailers, and you're not getting the results that you want, but you just keep throwing money at it, it's a bad decision. You've got to stop. Insanity is doing it over and over, the same thing over and over and over again, and expecting different results. It's just not going to happen. So, anyway, you have to make decisions every day. Some are easy, some are difficult. Know this, you're not alone. By any stretch, you are not alone. Every single one of us goes through this. Whether you're managing a solo career or you're managing 30 trucks, you're going to have a lot of the same problems that everyone else has. And your problems are the same as the problems that I have. I might have them on different levels or different aspects of it, but we all have the same problems deep down. All right, so that being said, best advice I can give you is don't sit on the fence. Make your decisions, and as you make your decisions, whether they're right or wrong, make the decision. Okay? I pondered too long, too many times on things, on decisions I needed to make. I would sit and spend weeks agonizing, not even sleep some nights, because I was so upset over making decisions, that were really life-altering decisions. Okay? That took years off my life. I know it did. And I was cranky to everybody around me because I couldn't make up my own mind on what to do. That's why I tell you, don't sit on the fence very long. Make your decisions and move on, whether they're right, whether they're wrong. If it's right, pat yourself on the back. Let yourself know you did something good, and remember that. Now, if it's wrong, learn from it and move on. Keep that in the back of your mind as well. You know you made a mistake. If you did every door direct mailing and you didn't have good results from it, okay, it could be a couple of things. Number one, it could be your print. It could be awful. Find out if you did the best job you could with your printing. And if you think you did, don't do it again, okay, because it's not working for you, all right? Certain marketing strategies work well for some people and not as well for others, okay? So, educate yourself as much as possible. This is how you make better decisions in life. It's by educating yourself and making yourself smarter, so to speak. So if someone came to me, if I didn't have any knowledge on marketing my business, I would work hard every day, and then I couldn't figure out why my business isn't growing the way it should be. My customers are getting older, they're dying off, I have no new ones coming in, but because I didn't spend any time, if I hadn't spent any time learning how to market, I wasn't bringing new customers in the door. I wasn't creating a funnel of new customers. As the old ones go out, the new ones are coming in. I never did that until I learned how to do it, okay? So educating yourself is a huge thing for everything in life. For example, even fighting with your wife. If you know that every time you come home, she's just pissed off at you, okay, what am I doing wrong? Well, one of the things that I was doing wrong years ago is I didn't come home right away. I would stop at the bar with the guys, drink beers till midnight, and then come home. Well, we weren't getting along whatsoever. It's because of me. It was this guy. It wasn't her. It was this guy. Again, bad decisions that I make, right? So, I can think of many tough decisions I've had over the years. One example for me, a very, very difficult decision, is firing employees that you get close to. over the years, I have had several employees that I was really, really close to, and I'd end up having to let them go for one reason or another. Those were agonizing for me, okay? I'd like to hear from you guys. I'm sure all of you have a story to tell. I'm sure you've got many decisions you've had to make in your life, and I would like for you guys, if you could for me, leave me one of yours down below, share with everybody else, and I think that's how we help each other. Help each other learn from this, learn about making decisions and the tough decisions and some of the tough ones that you've had to go through. That's what I'd like to hear from. If you could leave me a comment down below, I would really appreciate that. If you guys like this video, please hit the like button down below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe. Love hearing from you guys. Thanks.